Good morning friends. Today we have our essay lecture 3. Lecture 3. In the previous lectures we have understood how to write world class essay so that we can score 160 or plus in our UPSC examination. For that, apart from the fact that the explanation and description has taken place, I have given you two techniques which will ensure that you score much more than others, because this is a relative examination. You have to understand that in this examination you are competing with yourself for sure, but you have a competition with others. So you have to do relatively well from others. So how is that possible? For that we have certain techniques. One of the techniques, which is generic in nature, is to give you higher marks, higher grade marks, and that is phase technique. What is phase technique? We have already understood. In that, F stands for familiarity of topic. While you are choosing a topic to write essay on, it should be familiar to you. And when I say familiar, it means when you read the topic, you should feel the content of the topic can be generated through your knowledge. That knowledge can be general understanding, generic, or specific understanding gained through your optional topic. Suppose there is a topic based on creativity and you have psychology optional. There is a topic based on women empowerment and you have sociology optional. There is a topic based on India-China relationship and you have political science and international relations, PSIR, as your optional. There is a topic on disaster management and you have geography optional. It is better to choose these topics where you feel quite familiar because of your exposure to these topics during your study of optional. Point number 1. Secondly, what kind of conviction you generate for the topic also ensures your marks, because your logical exposition and your conviction while you are writing the essay will ensure your marks, apart from the fact that you have to be grammatically absolutely correct. When I say grammatically correct, it means no errors are required. The error-free essay gets more marks, which is generally not told by various platforms and coaches because they don't want to hurt the sentiments of the students. But the fact is that at the end of the day, if you win, howsoever rigorous the process might have been for you, at the end of the day, if you get a very good rank and throughout your career as a civil servant you do something wonderful for the country, that is much better than hurting yourself for some time. So please improve your grammar. Please write simple sentences, gather powerful sentences as I have told you. As a class practice will definitely give you, but you should also be in a habit of collecting powerful sentences. We are already doing ethics. In that we are studying powerful quotes and sayings of world leaders, reformers, administrators. They also come handy in writing your essay, because nobody is born as a Shakespeare, but you can build yourself to that level of language exposition. So familiarity of topic and conviction of the topic. This was the first part. How convinced you are regarding the topic, either pro or anti. Suppose the topic is women empowerment has lost its sense. If that is the topic, either you are pro the topic that yes, women empowerment has lost its sense, or you are against the topic, no, women empowerment stays. In both the cases, if you have the conviction for the topic, you can write a very good essay. After covering the familiarity part, what I suggested you to do is anecdotal introduction. When I say anecdotal introduction, it means that during the introduction itself, you cite some example or some imaginary story built by you to introduce the topic in such a manner that examiner gets convinced, okay, you have understood the topic firstly, secondly, you have the ability to express your viewpoint through one or two anecdotes. Suppose you have to write a 1200 word essay. In that you can easily devote 200 words to introduction and the same 200 words to the conclusion. Rest 800 words will go to the main part, the body part. And the topics for introduction and conclusion will also come from our brainstorming, which we'll see today. How to do brainstorming, how to generate the stuff through which you will write the essay. And while you are generating these points are not different from the main body. The introduction, body and conclusion all are connected to each other. So that while reading the essay, the examiner does not get jolted, does not feel any bump. There is a smooth transition of essay from introduction to the conclusion. And that is the essence I keep on telling, not only for essay and ethics, even when the questions in general studies mains paper are asking your viewpoints, especially the GS paper 2 of main, and they are asking your viewpoint regarding any international relation question or governance question, then you have to cite your viewpoint apart from the judgments given by Supreme Court. Then only you get marks. Here, anecdotal intro, I will explain through example. Then we covered in our FACE technique. C is for creative writing. C stands for creative writing. And when I say creative writing, again I don't mean that you have to use flowery language. You need to use examples. You can use diagrams, you can use flowchart, you can write in points within the essay itself. It is not forbidden. UPSC is quite relaxed and flexible as far as essay is concerned. And in fact, let me tell you one thing, that when you are writing main examination, suppose you have committed a small mistake as far as error in data and facts is concerned, the examiner is not bothered about that. But if you have done something faulty as far as reasoning part is concerned, how and why we are writing, there you have made a mistake, your conceptual error is there, that is penalized. So focus on your concepts, focus on how you are expressing your viewpoints. When I say creative writing, you have to use all these. You have to use paragraphs, you have to use points, you have to give diagrams, flowcharts, examples, case studies, many of them. And from this only comes the second point, E. E stands for your examples. And while I say examples, they should be general example, generic example from daily life. From daily life, from your observation, from your observation capacity as an administrator, As we saw in the ethics class the other day, that we were talking about the case study of IAS officers like Deepak Rawat and B. Chandrakala, who are so camera savvy that they have forgotten that there is a principle guiding civil servants, that is anonymity. You have to remain anonymous, away from the eyes of the camera, and do your duty with honesty and integrity. These kind of examples will see you through. Remember one thing, as we will see today as an example, we'll take two topics today. Out of these two topics, one I will elaborate, explain, we'll see the length and breadth of it. The second topic you will have to explore as part of a homework, and you just do the rough sketch. We will discuss it in the next class, that is tomorrow. So, after having discussed with you these techniques, we took up the philosophical essay. To write the wonderful philosophical essay, I gave you a technique again. These are the short terms, mnemonics, so that you can remember them, and while practicing you keep that in mind. The Dean technique. We will see the example of this Dean technique by taking one philosophical essay in the class and giving you the second topic as a homework part. Then we will discuss it tomorrow so that it gets imprinted in your mind. Now, Dean technique, the description. For writing philosophical essay, this is the technique. For writing a wonderful philosophical essay, this is the technique. Description part. You get a topic, you describe it completely. We will see how through an example. This is the meaning of description. Describe it completely means break it into simple and exploratory parts, break it into simple parts, and through those parts explore it further. Complete description of the topic. Then exposition. What was exposition? Exposition was while you break the topic into different parts, these different parts should be explained in an in-depth manner. That is exposition. Then comes your E for exposition, then comes your A for argument. What kind of arguments you give? As we will see, the argument can be pro-topic or anti-topic. For example, the topic which we are going to explore today, every adversity brings an opportunity. Every adversity brings an opportunity. Now, you have to write, yes, every adversity brings an opportunity. No, not all adversities bring an opportunity. Adversities can be of different types that you can explore. How the opportunity can be used will define, like some people don't grab the opportunities. As one of the greatest leaders, business leaders, has once quoted that I got most of the opportunities in life because I kept on jumping. That is, I was always eager to grab the opportunity which I get. As you will realize in our lives also, most people lose because they get defeated because they don't grab the opportunities which come their way. There are other set of people who even take adversities to define themselves. Adversities define themselves. They convert the adversity into opportunity. You take the example now, World Cup is going on, Cricket World Cup is going on in India. Suppose there is a team which is supposed to achieve a target of 200 runs. Now, while going to bat, 8 wickets are lost. Within a span of 10 overs itself. Now, in the remaining 40 overs, 200 runs are to be scored. 8 wickets fell for 0. Now, these two batsmen, those who are on the crease, for them, it is definitely an adversity, not only for them, for the team as well. But if they take it as an opportunity and they shine, as it has happened in many cases, as batsmen, they can find a place. These people who will be left there will be bowlers, those who are not sent to bat in the initial phase. Now, the people who are batting there, they can shine through this and become either an all-rounder or may find a place in the team as batsmen. The adversity was converted to opportunity. But how do you take it? So this topic is explored through. Under these subtopics, you are writing in-depth analysis, giving examples, expressing your viewpoints in different formats of arguments. Either yes, adversity led to opportunity, or it is quite possible that succumbing under this adversity, the leftover wickets, the 2 wickets, they are also lost. The team's morale is lost for decades or for a decade. And they can never come back to the mainstream of cricket. The adversity did not lead to any kind of opportunity, but led to the loss of morale. So this is how you have to explore the topics. Then we had talked about the narrative. How do you build your narrative? In the Dean technique, narratives, while building your narratives, again you will have to take care of case studies, because as I have done right now, I built a case study, imaginary case study, through which I built a narrative for the case that adversity can bring opportunity, or adversity can bring the gloom and despair for yourself. So this is the technique. We will understand the essence of the technique through a topic. Having said so, one thing which is very important, the kind of vocabulary which you have built till now is enough to clear the examination, that is okay. But if you build it further, it will be better. How to build the vocabulary? Like I told you, to pick and choose powerful sentences from your newspaper, from magazines, from your study of general studies part, from your extracurricular studies. You are reading a novel, you can pick certain sentences from there. You have picked it up. Likewise, you can pick some words which you find very expressive, very powerful. Look at their synonyms and antonyms. This will give you a fodder to write powerful sentences, because without a good vocabulary, it is almost impossible to write good essays. Having said it, now we go to our topics. Our topics today are: one will take in the class, the second one you have to work upon. The topic which I mentioned right now. Every adversity brings an opportunity. Every adversity brings an opportunity. Now, firstly, we'll go to our description part. First and foremost, before even going to the description part, before jumping on to the Dean technique, I'll tell you one thing. Firstly, go to the topic. First idea is to choose the topic which is familiar to you. Suppose you find this topic familiar to yourself. You find this topic quite closer to your heart, that you are convinced to write a powerful essay, to build a powerful narrative. Or you might have experienced it in your life itself, that in one of the adversities which you faced, you converted it into an opportunity and you were shining through it. After coming through the adversity, now you are a different man or a woman. You have learned certain virtues which you are using to propel your life towards success. Adversity brought to opportunity. You have the conviction, yes, the topic is fine. Now comes the second part. Many times we don't understand the topic itself. In that case, I suggest you to look up on the Hindi translation of this topic. This is the English part, the Hindi translation. Sometimes, as many of us are Hindi speaking people and come from the belt where Hindi is quite well versed, conversed, the communication in Hindi takes place very smoothly. So sometimes the topic which is written in the Hindi gives us a better grasp over our material which we are going to write. So, having understood the topic completely, then proceed to write it. Don't be in a hurry. Especially you have to maintain one thing. In the essay paper, which is the first paper itself, there is lots of anxiety, lots of stress, especially if it is your first means. Then how to overcome that? Through one thing, focus on your preparation. Focus only on your preparation. If you are focused about your preparation, leaving aside all these factors, you have done your duty really well and you are quite convinced. You have a sense from inside that yes, I am doing well. You are satisfied about your performance. You have done till now, for which you have enough evidence. Then there won't be any worry or anxiety. Even after that, I have seen certain aspirants who are really well prepared, but they are tense. it is quite impossible to eliminate all kinds of stress and anxiety from the examination. There will be anxiety, there will be stress, there will be some problem, of course. How to deal with that? Keep your mind blank. Before essay, don't read so much of study material. Don't read the essays which you have prepared beforehand. Just go with blank mind. Because in the essay paper, your English will be checked, your creativity will be checked, your communication ability will be checked, your ability to explore the topic will be checked. If you are not at peace with yourself, quite a lot of this is part of your personality. The personality which we are endowed with. Quite a lot of this is part of training. If you write the 10 essays which are there in the program, all your worries will go. Before mains also, you will get certain training. So why to worry? The thing is that most people are not focused as far as their preparation goes, and they are worried about other factors. So be in a habit of not worrying enough. Don't be an overthinker. Just eliminate these small things from your life and enjoy this process of preparation with full vigor and energy. Happily. Because this is not, you are not doing any sin. You are doing your duty, as we talked about in the ethics class. This is your duty to study. Now, this topic, every adversity brings an opportunity. We have understood that adversity comes to our lives, adversity comes to society, adversity comes to nation, adversity comes to the globe, and that leads to an opportunity if it is understood, if the lessons are well learned. The idea of essay is how. Now, just a common analysis of this topic we can say with the common analysis that there are certainly two parts of it. One part is adversity leading to opportunity. Simple. See the simplicity with which we will break down these things. There is no need of becoming a Shakespeare yourself. Just be a common person and you will crack the exam. Adversity leading to opportunity, adversity not leading to opportunity. So simply defined. Now what we'll do, we have started writing the essay. Understood the topic? Now we are doing the rough work, then we will write the essay. I am just showing you how to do the rough work. Adversity leading to opportunity, adversity not leading to opportunity. Just a common analysis and see the magic here. The adversity leading to opportunity, in that part you will have lot many points. We will start from our world history. World history. You must be aware of the fact that there was a bombing of American ship, American naval ship, which was carrying civilians, Pearl Harbor. During the World War itself. By that time, USA had not participated in the World War, but unnecessarily it was brought into the war because its naval ship was bombed. When the Pearl Harbor was bombed, the then American president inspired its Navy and Air Force that we should not take it lying down. We should rise to the occasion. And teach the enemy nations a lesson for life. Americans were so inspired by this, by one speech of the president, that they gathered all the courage and did something which was although devastating, but given the context, it was required. They completely brutalized and battered the enemy with the full force. Although the kind of resources they had, the kind of limitations they were reeling under, would not have ensured this. It was the sheer willpower through which they rose to the occasion. Adversity leading to opportunity. Likewise, Japan was bombed. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, 1945. Japanese cities were bombed. Japanese cities were attacked through nuclear bomb. Till the last decade, Japanese children who were born were suffering from one or the other disease. Japan has very limited resources. But if you read this book, Akio Morita's book, who built the Sony company, famous Japanese company, Sony, he recalls how Japan, despite the fact that Japan has very limited resources, Japan is surrounded by sea around. Japanese are not endowed with great natural resources. They are not very wealthy. They were bombed. Nuclear bomb was thrown on its cities. Despite that, Japanese have built themselves through sheer will and hard work. Will, hard work and discipline. Sheer will, discipline. If you see the discipline of Japanese, that is marvelous. Japan has built itself up to the level of developed countries, despite the fact that they were having lot many limitations. Adversity leading to opportunity. Now, we will talk about from the world history itself, few other instances. Holocaust. Where Jews were killed en masse by the then Nazi Germany, reeling under the atrocities of Hitler, who was a believer of Nazi race, German race. He wanted only German race to stay in Europe. Throughout the Europe, German race would be there. And that's why Jews were to be exterminated, eliminated, completely finished. Holocaust was done. It was an adversity for the Jews. Jews built themselves. But you see, this did not turn into any opportunity, but still you can see the repercussions of those Holocaust, Israel-Palestine war. Because the Jews who fled from this place in Europe, they settled in the around the bank of Gaza, West Bank, in the vicinity of already settled Palestine civilization, although Palestine is not recognized yet because of the terrorist activities. But still this war is going on. Adversity did not lead into any opportunity. Two contradictory things here. Here we see the adversity leading to opportunity through two examples, but on the other side, as a contrast, we see that adversity did not lead to opportunity, but adversity created another adversity, which is this Israel-Palestine war. Likewise, you can cite example. Adversity not leading to opportunity. During the 90s, the then USSR, United States of Soviet Russia, Russia which is called now or earlier USSR, it disintegrated into various parts. All the countries of Central Asia were part of Russia, USSR. It got disintegrated, and because of the disintegration, those countries which were part of the Eastern Europe, which are now part of the Eastern Europe, they were also under USSR. They became separate and independent. One of them is your Ukraine. It was definitely an adversity for USSR, but it did not turn into any kind of opportunity. Russia-Ukraine war going on even now. This was a lesson from your world history. Two examples in support of the topic, two examples against the topic. Do you realize that how through our knowledge we have built the essence of the topic? Further, we will take example from Indian history. Adversity leading to opportunity. Kalinga War of Ashoka. A devastating war. Although Ashoka got victory, but he was completely devastated from within by seeing the adversities around, by seeing the misery of human beings who were wounded in the war, by seeing a small young kid completely wounded, drenched in the blood, running away from him when he was offering water to the kid. He felt inhuman. He felt as if humanity has lost its sense. And when human will, human conscience is moved, it can move the mountains. It led to Ashoka's complete transformation of heart, and he converted it into an opportunity to express his viewpoints through a religious practice called Buddhism. Ashoka, along with his daughter Sanghamitra, traveled to various nations, including Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and ensured that Buddhism spreads like anything, because the main essence of the Buddhist religion was peace, non-violence, truthfulness, purity. Adversity converted into opportunity. Likewise, if you look at the Indian history itself, a major event which was nothing less than an adversity took place. Partition. Partition was definitely an adversity. But you see the situation of Pakistan now. Pakistan could not convert this adversity into an opportunity. Pakistan still is reeling under the theocracy, that is, its governance is based on religion. The main theme on which the country was established was religion, and because of which Pakistan, being ruled by, as I told you earlier, Allah, army, Allah and Al-Qaeda, that is terrorism, religion and the dominance of army, has made Pakistan so poor. Adversity did not lead to any opportunity but further devastation, because the lessons were not learned. Further, as there was transition of heart for, in this part, adversity leading to opportunity, likewise there is an instance in the history of Gandhiji's life. Gandhiji, before going to Africa to fight a major war against the discriminatory practices there, as a young person, was involved in the hedonistic pleasures of life, so much so that if you read this book, My Experiment with Truth, My Experiment with the Truth, this is the autobiography of Gandhiji, where he writes that it was quite shameful of me that I was so much involved in the hedonistic, lustful practices of life that while my father was dying, I was with my wife behind the closed doors. Gandhiji has written so many other instances also, through which we can see that his mind was full of lustful practices. But this one instance moved the conscience inside him, inside Gandhiji, and he took a vow to purify himself and became one of the greatest leaders, not only of this country but the whole world. Adversity leading to opportunity. You can cite many examples. Through the same instance, adversity, opportunity can be seen in a contrasting way. I'll give you an example. It should be your analysis, and whatever I am talking about is not only about the content. Your ability to draw this content is important. It is not that you should get the fish, but how to fish is more important. as far as our classes go. So, you see this 9/11. What happened? USA, the most powerful nation at that time, was attacked by terrorists. One of the most prosperous buildings, World Trade Center, was blown away. World Trade Center, WTC, was blown away by suicide bombers who were sitting in a plane, and they simply hit the tower flying very low in the zone. The complete tower exploded. There was a huge loss, hue and cry. Adversity. What America did was wonderful. It came down heavily on the terrorists, eliminated each and every terrorist who were involved in the bombing. Not only this, they made international arrangements to punish the countries who were involved in the terrorism, to ensure that there is a Financial Action Task Force, FATF. Financial Action Task Force, which works as a bank, as a monetary support to eliminate terrorism. Not only this, the countries who were supporting, like Osama bin Laden, was given asylum in Pakistan. USA had made a vow that we will eliminate each and every terrorist, used its intelligence to eliminate Osama bin Laden as well. Adversity turned into opportunity. Likewise, what happened? 26/11, Mumbai terror attacks. After Mumbai terror attacks, when Ajmal Amir Kasam, along with one or few of his friends, who were quite young but very well trained, entered India through its naval border, from the places where India would never have thought that these people will enter. They entered the borders of India, but in a silent manner. Nobody would have thought this will happen. They destroyed the country, destroyed the country's image, they destroyed the city life completely. Blew away Leopold Cafe, where foreigners used to visit, and even now, if you go there, that's a very nice place to go. Leopold Cafe in Mumbai. Taj hotels were blown away. It took years for Taj to rebuild itself. We lost many of our well-groomed, seasoned officers, IPS and Army both. Then there was a realization that there has to be a dedicated force, there has to be a single point depository where all the terrorist list of all the criminals will be there in the depository of police and other services which are supporting police. So many reforms were initiated by the then Home Minister P. Chidambaram. But India has hardly implemented one or two of them, with its full force, in its full vigor. I'll give you another example. Police in India behaves like an autocratic force. For the reforms of police, an ex-DGP, Mr. Prakash Singh, filed a case in Supreme Court for the police reforms. And he said that the DGP of police should not be appointed by the Chief Minister himself. He should not be a political appointee. The police should be remained away from the politics. Prosecution and investigation should be separate. These are the police reforms which you will read as a part of General Studies paper 2, main examination especially. Now, how much of it has been implemented? The answer is zero. Adversities were definitely there, but we did not learn. Adversity not leading to any sort of opportunity. Now we come to another aspect. History we have seen, instances from history. Has changed to sustainable development practices. There is Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, given by United Nations. The whole practice, there is a ministry dedicated to Ministry of Environment and Forest, which is dedicated towards lowering the carbon footprint. The whole policy and policy making has changed. The policies are designed according to the need of the hour. Likewise, I'll tell you, because of the discriminatory practices followed against certain castes in this country, there came a social justice movement. Now, for most of the policies, this social justice becomes the most important factor that is factored in. Women have been discriminated throughout the ages. What happened? Now women specific laws, policies like gender budgeting is taking place. Gender budgeting. Within the budget itself, a part is dedicated for the upliftment, growth of women. Adversities were there, that was converted into opportunity. Although we were taking the example of geography, giving you through a sequence, we brought this in between. So, this was one part. Geography, adversity leading to opportunity. But there is a second part within geography itself. And if you talk about this climate change itself, there was melting of ice caps. Many small islands, low-lying islands, because of this melting of ice cap, they drowned completely. It is irreversible. The adversity did not lead to any sort of opportunity, because this adversity did not have any scope of leading to opportunity at all. So it's not that always adversity will lead to opportunity. We are generating points only. We'll go to economy section. Economy. There was a huge recession in 2008 throughout the world. The effects of recession were also seen in India. At that point of time, we were moving towards globalization. Our focus was moving towards aligning our economy with the developments in the world. But due to this recession after 2008, we focused more on detaching our economy. We kept our economy detached from the world events. By relying more on consolidation of our banking. By making our central banks RBI much more powerful, by ensuring that we have a buffer in form of forex reserves, and we are not driven by these forex reserves but our own reserves, because of which even now when we have ups and downs in the global economy, we remain largely detached, as have been told by IMF. Geeta Gopinath, who is the chief economist at IMF, told on record that India, because of these practices, has remained away from the ill effects of recession. But contrast it with the economy itself. Contrast it with the situation which was prevailing in before 1990. World Bank, IMF, and most of the international institutions had already indicated that your reserves are very less to India, that your reserves are very less. You should build your reserves. You are not self-reliant. You cannot produce goods, so better open your economy. We did not listen. The government of that day, government of those who were in the governance, they did not listen. Because of that, we came to that situation where we had to mortgage all our reserves. We had to take huge amount of loan from World Bank, for which we are still paying. Adversity was there. One master stroke came in 1991 when Mr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister. He, along with the P.V. Narasimha Rao, designed the economy of India with these principles: LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. In this case, adversity was turned into opportunity because of the bold step taken here. The license Raj was finished. People were allowed to open businesses with ease. Government relaxed its control over many of the activities. It is told that government's business is not to do business. Business should be left with the business people, and government should focus on governance. Especially in developed world, this happens. We still have lot many control. The control of government, the control of economic affairs department, because of the corruption which is there in the country. You can see these examples. Look at this country, Singapore. zero corruption. Look at India, almost 100% corruption. Corruption is a practice which is practiced like anything. Corruption is everywhere. Now, why this country, Singapore, took the lessons from the history that a country which is not corrupt progresses like anything. You take the example of developed countries like USA. They have understood, they have also been under adversity. They have understood that by focusing on research and higher education, they can have a much better economy. India is also in the same situation, on the launch pad with highest demographic dividend. So many young people here. But still it cannot launch itself because India is not learning its lessons. Still the focus is on politics. Entrepreneurial activities are taking place, but at a very low level. The intensity is very less. And again, in the Department of Entrepreneurship also, the show off, rather than focusing on building something unique. Like if you look at these developed countries, they have focused on manufacturing. Our focus is still on services. Unless you can manufacture each and every good which is consumed by you, you will not be self-reliant. Make in India came as a policy, but it has not shown its progress on the ground. Adversities are there, but opportunity will come only if you learn the right lessons. We have seen the economy part also. Let us see the polity part. Polity, this part will deal adversity leading to opportunity. Adversity not leading to opportunity. A black day, or rather black days in India came when there was emergency. 1975. Many prominent leaders were put into jail just because they were protesting against the government, which is the essence of the governance as far as democracy goes. In democracy, you have the right to express yourself, right to freedom of speech and expression. If you are not disturbing the public order and morality, then you are having the freedom to speech and expression. But the then government, they reacted very badly and they put everyone in jail. They curtailed the freedom of press. India remained in an emergency. It was an adversity for the whole country. There rose a popular leader, a student leader. Student movement throughout the country emerged under the leadership of JP, Jai Prakash Narayan, which was called Total Revolution, to overthrow the autocratic government. Of course, when the next elections were held, Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister at the time of emergency, did not come back to power. There was a form of coalition government after this. But because of emergency, we realized, the policy makers, the constitution experts, realized that the provisions of emergency are not correct for a country like India. It needs to be changed. There cannot be emergency on the grounds of internal disturbances. There has to be armed rebellion for proclamation of emergency. It changed the complete nature of provision of emergency. Otherwise, the governments of the day used to put emergency provisions at the drop of a hat. Especially if we look at the president rule. Since the Bombay judgment, SR Bombay judgment, and Keshwanand Bharti case, along with a few more instances, like Bhutta Singh was governor of Bihar. He proclaimed the president rule by sending a negative report to the central government, and central government also did not think properly. They removed the government, proclaimed the emergency. Now, after these judgments and few other instances where High Court and Supreme Court had to intervene, now the president rule is not proclaimed that easily as it was being done earlier. The media and the people have also understood that somehow the democracy is being disturbed, but the democratic principles are being disturbed. Whosoever is ruling the country, whether it is Congress government, BJP or any other government, if the democratic principles, the constitutional morals are not lived by, then it would be very difficult for the common citizen to live life of liberty and freedom. You can write about the current scenario also. There is a polarization in the society. Adversity is there. Communal harmony is disturbed. Like what happened in Gujarat, disturbed the communal harmony of the whole country. These are the adversities. What is the outcome? After these judgments, because of the adversities being converted into opportunity, now we have a better provisions for both national emergency and state emergency, which are quite democratic as compared to the autocratic ways in which it was being done. We can draw example from anywhere. Now, look at in the polity part itself. Adversity not leading to opportunity. Because of the previous government, before the Modi government came in 2014, the previous government was reeling under policy paralysis. It was said that there are two centers of power, one center being held by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh himself, another center of power with the then UPA President Sonia Gandhi. So government was not able to function smoothly because of these two centers of power, and because of that the decisions became delayed. As told by the Prime Minister's principal advisor, media advisor, in his book, people were against these kind of practices. People were shown a picture where the CAG of the day, CAG was Vinod Rai at that point of time. He said that 1,76,000 crore scam has taken place in 2G. There was exposure of coal scam as well. Likewise, another movement was going on, Anna movement. in the country where they wanted corrupt practices to be ended and corrupt politicians to go away from the power. This was a situation of adversity, but it was not turned into opportunity, because see, after Anna movement, he called for national ombudsman. Ombudsman is a person who is kind of a supervisor, who is outside the government machinery, outside judiciary, but keeps a watch on the government. Whenever corrupt practices take place, he is having enough power to take actions. But that did not happen. In the states also, few states appointed this Lokpal. But Lokpal's power became so curtailed that Lokpal became Jokpal. If you place a person, like if there is a place of president who is having the duty of the rubber stamp only, just for the sake of constitutional obligation, president is there. The checks and balances are in favor of the government of the day, especially if the government is having huge majority. Likewise, the Lokpal was put up in few places. Ombudsman, who will keep a watch over the government's activity and curtail the corrupt practices. Lokpal became Jokpal. We did not learn from the adversities. People realized that the coalition government is not good. Now they are seeing elections as two-party system. Either to give vote to one coalition or one set of parties, or largely they are voting for one single party. Most of the people now see that there is no other option than one party who keeps on coming to the power. Now we did not learn our lesson. That is why we are moving towards another autocratic regime. As we have taken example from world history, Indian history, geography, economy, polity, you can also take example from your personal life. Adversity leading to opportunity. How it is shown? I'll give you an example. There were two sisters, Kinjal Singh and Pranjal Singh, belonging to UP. Their father was brutally killed in broad daylight by criminals. Rather than choosing the path of revenge, they choose the path of avengement. Both of them studied well, worked hard. Both of them became civil servants with very good ranks. As far as I recall, IAS and IPS. After that, luckily, coincidentally, they were placed at the same district where the incident of killing of their father took place. The case was reopened. They brought justice to their father. by eliminating those who were involved in the notorious activity. But there are people who don't turn these adversities into opportunity. You can give example of juvenile delinquents. You can give example of young boys and girls who get affiliated with the terrorist groups like ISIS. You must have heard that there are people who, just by watching the social media content of these groups, by watching the speech of their leaders, the fanatic leaders, they get so impressed that despite the fact that they were so talented, they joined these groups and destroyed their career, family and life completely. Once they entered these groups, they realized that life is hell there. They were abused, beaten, broken, used by the groups for terrorist activities. Some of them were looking at the opportunity somehow to flee from there. When they came back to India after being rescued by our armed forces, some young men and women also, they said that why they were drawn to these groups. They said that there was so much adversity in their life. They were poor, the opportunities were limited. They had in their mind the idea of revenge. And because of this, they thought of doing something which brings them into light, although they chose the wrong path. So what is happening here? Adversity not leading to opportunity. You can connect it with another concept which we have understood in our optional studies. If you take the example of psychology, there are two sets of people. Those who are faced with the problems, they will use projection. They will repress their feelings. Suppose somebody did not clear civil services examination. Now, throughout the life, this person can stay in a critical mode, criticize the government, criticize the civil servants, criticize the judiciary, criticize the whole system, say that UPSC itself is a corrupt body, as many people do. Then there is another set of people, who will say, okay, I did not clear the examination, I look into the problems which I faced, I will look into the weaknesses which I am having, overcome these, and then finally I will ensure that there are hundreds and thousands of civil servants who are trained by me as a vow. This is called sublimation. Which approach is better? Here the adversity led to opportunity. Here the adversity leads to doomsday. Which is better? Obviously the second one. Now, through our exploration, we have generated around 12 themes. You can generate more also. 12 themes we have generated. We can keep 2 themes for introduction purpose and 2 of these themes for conclusion, to be included in conclusion. Rest 8 of the themes to be written in the body part. For the conclusion, for the introduction part, you can take 2 anecdotes which were taken initially from the world history. Write that how adversity can lead to opportunity and how, if the lessons are not learned, adversity itself can lead to doomsday. No opportunity at all. Then you will say that through this essay, we will explore various dimensions of adversity leading to opportunity and the instances where adversity did not lead to opportunity. You will give a heading, adversity leading to opportunity. Within that, you will write paragraphs as we have seen the examples, smoothly transitioning from one paragraph to another. Then finally, you will say, but there are instances where adversity did not lead to opportunity. In that section, you will write different sets of your examples. Then you will give a balanced viewpoint that whether adversity will lead to opportunity or not depends upon the lessons learnt by the people in the situation, the surrounding context, and various other factors. Then you will get into a visionary mode in your conclusion part. That adversities can lead to opportunity has been well expressed throughout the essay. And what I have realized through my life experiences are this. In these instances, adversity led to opportunity for me. But there are instances where I did not learn the lesson and did not understood the context, and because of that, I did not learn the opportunity which was hidden there in the adversity itself. To ensure a prosperous nation, to ensure a prosperous society and an egalitarian world, it is necessary that every human being has the capacity to turn adversities into opportunities. With these powerful sentences, you will end your essay. We will keep doing this practice in our classes. Go through the session again, learn your lessons, jot it down, and here is another topic which you have to explore at your home. We will discuss it tomorrow. All that glitters is not gold. Another philosophical essay. What you have to do, you have to make a rough sketch according to the scheme which I have given to you. Keep it with yourself. Tomorrow when I am dealing with this essay, see how many dimensions you have been able to explore. Then you need to write these two essays at home, because unless you start writing, unless your pen starts speaking, there is no point giving you the theories, because the practice has to be from your side, and we will start practicing. These two topics we will write. I will see how you are expressing it, because the fodder is already given to you. Now you are how you are reacting. Then we will keep moving to another different types of essays. We will keep understanding the techniques and intricacies, and according to your strength and weaknesses, I will suggest you methods to improve your scores from what you are getting now. But on your own, keep working on your grammatical part, keep working on the vocabulary part and sentence part. From wherever it is possible, you keep picking the right kind of sentences which appeals to you. The vocabulary which you have, try to improve it, and there is enough time till the time you write your main examination. As I have already spoken to many of you regarding the prelims preparation, it is important that it is dicey now, and we pull up our socks now only and move ahead in the right direction, rather than being waylaid in the plethora of material which is available and mind it, the first hurdle is the biggest hurdle for many of the aspirants. If you are not having the right direction, then you are lost in the vagaries, and it's a lifetime opportunity to become a civil servant, which will define not only your life but the life of your district, the life of your society, the life of your family. You will be a change maker for your family, your district, and maybe for the nation. You may become an asset. So for those dreams and goals, these small sacrifices are nothing. Be on the right path. This topic you must explore, rough sketch. You need not share it with me, but tomorrow when I discuss, you will get to know where you are lacking. Thank you very much for joining. We are ending the session now. I will meet you tomorrow at the same time, 9:45 am, as far as the essay classes are concerned. Thank you for joining.